Does this work?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, thank you very much for the invitation, and thank you for staying until the middle of the round table that we are currently according to the schedule, but we will see where we end with. You left me with a very difficult situation because it's difficult to keep up with all the memories and all the information, and now the last one is trying to give his presentation as well. But I tried to make a little bit of a roundup, and especially after the enthusiastic presentation of Massimiliano, I think I can really add up there, and if we melt these two presentations together, I'm sure you have a good idea of what we do as educational partner of zoos. And as we heard from Luigi, we have to deal with humans concerning attitude and concerning conflicts. And he mentioned two very important words, fear and values. I think this was very well emphasized by Gabriele later on with all the data he showed us, fear and values. And if you keep in mind all the unique selling points that we heard from Massimiliano, I think that's about my roundup for the next 15 minutes, maybe 20. Let's see. If we want to change habits or change opinions, we have to do a very good job because it starts very early. We start to explain our children with fairy tales how the world functions, if we want or not. I heard that as well. All of you know this fairy tale. We don't explain hybridization problems with wild cats when we talk to 2-year-olds. We just don't do this. For a good reason maybe, but it starts very early. It's very deep what we explain. And the role of zoos as mediators, I try to show you with just some pictures, and I think if we question here, is this really a big bad wolf? It works with all of us. Huh? Puppies always work, let's put it that way, and we were lucky enough to have 2 of those in our zoo. It continues with other stories, basically. You all probably know Lion King, and you know the Lion King hyenas. They are mean, hysteric, and bad, and if I look at ours in Zurich, you see that they easily can take a sunbath, or that they are just extremely beautiful animals, if you look at our male on the lower left. So I think again here we can, only by looking at the animal, change maybe an attitude. Snakes, the Jungle Book, again, a story that we tell our children, and they love it because it's very well written, and especially Disney was capable of really having characters towards animals. What can we do here? We can have a word or a touch against the fact that people still think snakes are slimy, they are sneaky, they are bad. And we do this occasionally because we cannot or should not use these animals too much if we touch them. But this is something very unique. We heard it also from Massimiliano. If you can really get in contact with an animal, it's what we should do. And then spiders. This is Alabok. It's the spider from Harry Potter. And also there we can help people to come over arachnophobia. So we make courses where the ultimate goal is to actually have one of these spiders in the hand. It works in an astonishingly high percentage of the persons that visit that course. But it's a tough course. We use a psychologist and a zoologist to really cover both topics. That's cool. into the Zoo of Zurich and what is the situation concerning the wolf exhibition we had. How do we show the wolves? Or how have people the possibility to see our wolves? First of all, we have a classic, more observation hut, so you don't just walk in and you see the animals right away. And second, we have, of course, information tables with some information in a written way, so you need to go there and read, which is already sometimes not really what people want to do, but I come later to that. And I think Massimiliano made a very clear statement on how reading a lot is possible or not in Zoom. That's if you can observe those, so you really see much green. It's an observation. It's not a staring or looking at a wolf. It's quite difficult to observe them. We give more information in flyers to take home, so they have a take-home message. One is this one, where we talk about the wolf that is coming back, and a big topic about the wolf is the case with the guard dogs. This is very much proposed in Switzerland, and there are a lot of questions around this, because we are a nation of hiking people, and if you hike, you come through those herds of sheep that are protected by those dogs, and you have to know a little bit how to behave. We even have maps on the internet showing where those dogs are actually located and working. Moreover, we have little games, we have more pictures that we can use, and we try there to really be in person and to answer any questions that come by visitors. That's sort of the setup. Now, I come a bit, maybe I follow up a little bit on Massimiliano, and some things are repetitions. As you all know, the mother of advertisement is the repetition, so afterwards you will know for sure. The challenge is, as Massimiliano said, the mindset is different than when you go to a museum if you go to a zoo. In a zoo you want to see animals. That's cool, that's fine, that's good, and we should use that fact. The distraction is very high, not only from the animals itself, but also from the visitors itself, because in Zurich, 75% of the visitors come with children. Children are one of our target groups, but they are very distracted. If you come with a child, you need to look at it, you need to answer questions, you need to always see that it behaves correctly. Sometimes they don't do this, but this is a normal picture in the morning, 10 o'clock in the Zoo of Zurich. You see more children than actual mothers. There are more facts that make it difficult. People can only remember 2 to 3 messages at a time. Maybe you are a bit better. I hope, because today otherwise it will be a bit difficult. No, it's true. 2 to 3 messages. Keep that number in your head. And reading is an effort. Reading, you need to have time. You don't have that time if you come with a child, because it always wants something. It's thirsty, it wants to see the other animal on the other side of the zoo, or it wants to go to the playground of the zoo. So how can I read as a visitor? It means basically, and that's very important, and maybe that adds perfectly to the idea of having a playground or with gadgets like this one. It's that we need to have the message for the visitors on the side, like with an advertisement. That sounds easy, but it needs some work to do on this. We need to adapt completely, at least as speak now of the Zoo of Zurich, our general communication strategy. Currently, if I ask people what's the main message of the Zoo of Zurich, they simply don't know. We have 20 exhibitions, all of it, everyone is very interested. Lots of information, extremely nice pictures, everything is there. But the main message of a zoo is not being taken. So we need to reduce the messages. And what changed dramatically from the last 20 years is that nowadays everyone, I heard except Luigi, have a phone in their pocket. Sorry. The phone means it's a lot of knowledge in their pockets, already there. So what we should do is showing the main message only, but make it very easy to go with a link to more detailed messages. For the ones, let's say 5% of the visitors that really want to read the details. Because all the rest is happy if they have a good day in the zoo. Let's face it. So we need to play a little bit on where do we put our information precisely. We need to be boring in the sense of we need to repeat our messages. And the entrance it says we are also protecting nature because of 2 sentences. That's it, not more. 2 or 3 messages. If you come to a specific exhibit, it says again, Zurigo is protecting nature. How does we do this? What can you do to help us? Only this message. Through whole Zoo, it will be interesting how people react. And in the plan we just made, I gave myself 10 years to change all the messaging in the Zoo of Zurich towards that. Because if we manage that the message is understood by 80% of the visitors, we reach quite a lot of people. We have roughly about 1.2 million visitors each year, so 80% is a huge number where we can definitely make a difference. The cool thing is that we have 1.2 million coming already, so I'm not speaking of how can we achieve that all these people are coming. I think that's a whole other day that we should speak about. And the last one, and again, you heard it, involves the kids. Because if kids ask questions, the parents need to answer. And then I think that's how it comes to where we want to end. We will try to reduce text as much as possible and to use pictures. And this is an example of something which is not yet in display, but you see the story that starts that the bird was actually extinct because people just made out a meal of it, so they ate it. And currently this is understood by everyone to whom I showed this picture. Even 7-year-olds could make it up. Maybe in 10 years we don't know the picture on the right hand side anymore because we're all vegetarian, but at the moment it still works. So people see, okay, this is a problem, and that's how we should try to build up the story. This is not easy. We need to know every single detail of the story to make sure we finally get to the point what we want to give to the people. And of course, we should, on the other side, commit to the knowledge transfer that is active. We can play games. At the end, the most important factor and what works best is still human to human. Maybe you feel already the difference if I speak or if we have a video. It's different. We are social animals. And especially in a zoo, only humankind is capable of reacting to the situation in a zoo. So if an elephant comes behind me, I need to stop talking here. I need to say, hey, look at this elephant. It's not possible to continue talking. And so far, no machine can do that. Or if it starts raining, if we have a kid, if we have the grandfather, that's done by humans. What we do in the Zoo of Zurich as examples is we have animal presentations, short, 15 minutes. That's really like biology. That's here's the orangutan, he does this and that, he's very interested in doing things and destroying things in the zoo. have quite nice numbers, over 45,000 adults that come to such a tour per year, and we have more than 12,000 school kids per year. I just looked it up lately. We cover more than 650 different schools from the whole Switzerland area. So I really think we can make a difference. And lastly, we have a huge team of volunteers. And the volunteers do mainly explain the visitors and give them the feeling that they are something special and that visitors can really ask them any question. And that gives that privacy moment that makes a difference than when you just run through the zoo. We have more than 340 volunteers that are basically running around the zoo every day and helping, informing about our main message. Still there, it's work to do so that we can have the same message with all the 340. Currently they are fans of specific animals, and they love to talk, for instance, as we see on the top right, about the wolves. They can talk for hours about the wolf. Which is good, but for a straight message, that needs a bit of work as well. But I think it's a good setup. At the end, I think we can, zoos and parks can really be mediators. And to finish up, it's really all about emotions. So if you can sleep in the zoo and then you see the wolves falling, they usually start at 6 the first time. You are sort of a little bit in a different world, and you probably understand